Book 1, Chapter 11. It's 1982, and a slightly less toned but relaxed-looking Ben is in the grounds of Maharaj's ashram. He's been here on and off for a couple of years now. Perhaps sadly, the place has begun to fall into disrepair, and the number of devotees has dropped. Ben makes his way along a cracked path towards a small group of narrow and unhealthy-looking trees. He is mumbling to himself and occasionally whistling. His daydream has made him careless, and he trips on a small root. "Been away for some time now." The voice comes from high up to Ben's right. Filled with embarrassment, he pulls to a halt. The source of the words sits on a boulder, a long twisted wood staff in his right hand and simple white material covering his groin and shoulder. One foot is tucked under him, the other dangles down, naked toes in contact with the tips of tall grass below. Shielding his eyes from the sun's rays, Ben replies, Not for myself." It is considered most auspicious to happen to bump into the master, and for him to engage you in unprompted conversation is, as far as Ben is aware, unheard of. "Do not forget what you learned here, that there is no purpose in life other than that which you give it. The mind's nature is to reach for something, to grab, and try to hold. Life does not require the safety net of the mind. Life is boundless, but only when lived from the heart." Having withdrawn his previously outstretched leg, Maharaj sits motionless, his eyeballs rolled upwards, as if staring into his brain. Ben's master's cryptic next words appear to be carried to his disciple on the wind. "The universe weeps for those that leave a master to find a master." With that, and laughing with his whole body, as though somehow being laughed, Maharaj gets to his feet. Now appearing remarkably tall for one so short, he disappears from view as though devoured by the sun. His only trail that of mirth. Ben is left speechless and still. After a while he is on the move again, muttering to himself and with his hand gently resting at his chest. "You are forever carried in here, my master. You are—"
"Not talking to yourself again, are you, Hopes? Better be careful with that sort of stuff. They still stone witches for less round here."
Gideon roars with overly animated laughter. As usual, he's dressed more like a broad-shouldered male model than an Eastern spiritual devotee. His untucked lime-green shirt and spotless white cotton Levi's hugging his muscular frame. He finally resorts to gripping his own thighs for support. Ben can't help but ponder, for the umpteenth time, how Gideon has the access to this continual flow of an ever more enviable wardrobe.
Yeah, very funny, Gideon."
Dispensing with his pantomime-like overacting, Gideon straightens.
"Oh, come on, mate. You've got to allow me the occasional joke at your expense. After all, everyone knows you're the golden boy here. If ever there was going to be a successor to a master that doesn't believe in lineages, it'd be you.
You'd be as likely a candidate for that as me, Tasha even." Talking of Maharaj, Gideon cuts in, evidently hell-bent on completing his friend's sentence.
"Yeah, I know. Returning from his travels tomorrow. Those two that brought you here are Jato and Plato, whatever the names are. All I can talk about is Maharaj's return. I'd have thought if being around here had taught them anything, they'd understand by now that he's meant to be with you, even when he's not.
Ben stalls for a second, shocked by Gideon's coupling of what he clearly believes to be a fact and his apparently nonchalant insightfulness.
Tomorrow? But definitely tomorrow. There are people in the city throwing money at him. No matter how much you wake up, you're still human when you're walking around on this planet, right? I know, in his shoes, well, not his shoes, you know what I mean. Put it this way, even if you're of the money is the root of all evil variety, this place costs a fortune to run, and, rich as some of the guys here and their relatives are, none of us are multimillionaires. Yet.
Ben squeezes his bottom lip between his thumb and curled index finger.
If anyone knows how expensive it is to run this place, why that be you and your good lady, elected as the commune's treasurer before I went on my latest walkabout, wasn't she? Impressive that, to be the first Westerner ever entrusted with the role.
Ben surveys their surroundings, the walls and paths. Only a year or two earlier they had been pristine, but of late have begun to show signs of decay.
Ah, so your head's not completely in the clouds then? Almost a year now. All credit to Tash, she's done a great job. Must have been good training growing up in a big old pile back in Dorset with a leaky roof.
Ben chuckles.
That'll do it.
Gideon remains straight-faced.
Not going to disappear again, I hope. I always think that way when I see you've got that backpack with you. Reminds me of a snail's shell. You could fit inside that thing.
Well, you never know. What is it we're meant to get from this stopping, thinking practice again?
That's right, spontaneity.
Ben winks at Gideon.
Be seeing you.
Ben heads off. Gideon eyes him intently until Ben slips from view.